We're here at Netroots Nation 2022, Pittsburgh, PA. Politics done right. Once again, coming live. Today, I'm honored to be with Adam Green. Adam Green is one of the co-founders of Bold Progressive. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing okay.
Well, look, before we even get started, what I like to do is learn a little bit about the person. Tell me a little bit, who is Adam Green?
Who is that? That's such a complicated question.
I know, that's the reason I asked.
Well, first of all, Adam Green is hilarious. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, Adam Green, that's interesting. Politically speaking,
Right.
Adam Green had his foundational moment in South Dakota
Right.
many years ago in a campaign where I was just this novice political person who happened to stumble in this situation
Right.
where little guy family farmers were attacked by big corporations.
Right.
And part of my job during the campaign was to talk to them and help them express themselves at these press conferences. And what I learned that year was that these very pro-life, pro-gun, evangelical, lifelong Republicans were willing to cross party lines and vote for a Democrat if economic populism was at the center of everything. If we fought for the everyday little guy.
Right.
And that really is the ethos that I think I live my life by, including my political life. Like, let's fight for the little guy and help everyday people stand up to big corporate power.
Now, you said it was a political campaign. Would that have been Dean's campaign, or whose campaign was it then?
Well, it was actually a couple years, I think, before that. It was 2002.
Okay,
There's a guy named
gotcha.
Kim Johnson,
Right.
who is running in a 20-point red state
Right.
the year after 9/11,
Right.
where Democrats got decimated. And we
Right.
ended up winning that year by 524 votes because we fought for everyday family farmers who were at threat of having their farms taken over by big ag monopolies. Right. And I think that's the recipe for political success for Democrats
and you know something,
right now.
and I think that's what Bold Progressive tries to do. You try to, I hate to use sometimes when you say educate, it seems a bit condescending. So you try to enlighten folks to how best to address their particular population, correct?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think part of what you're the solution to is a very broken conventional wisdom in Washington. And it amazed me during the healthcare fight in 2010, as we were advocating for the public option, which was by far the most popular provision of the initial bill, right? Even New York Times polling showed that 50% of Republican voters wanted it, let alone like 70% of independents and 80% of Democrats. Basically a nonprofit entity to compete head-to-head with private insurance and create some market forces that bring down costs and give people a better deal. And all these reporters would say to me, why are you asking these Democrats in red states to walk the plank on this liberal issue?
Right.
And again, I just think back to the South Dakota moment. It's like, this is not out of touch. This is in touch. Like, if we want to get past some of the cultural divide issues in these red states, the way to do it is to lean hard into economics so that people rally to our side, right? So that just the conventional wisdom, the guidance telling them, the educating, telling them, don't do this, it's too liberal, is actually giving them very bad political advice, which then leads to us losing elections. So I think part of what we're trying to do at Bold Progressives is say, hey, basically run on Elizabeth Warren style populism if you want to win in red or purple areas, not just blue areas.
I've seen you on a few of the network shows, and I've seen how they've twisted that message several times, and they do it all of the time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of progressives that go on to the national networks sometimes I think believe that these guys just don't understand. I think they understand just well. I just think that how do you talk about a public option if Aetna is one of your major advertisers? Please explain to me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know something. How do you accept what Adam Green is saying on network TV? And I'm not saying anything bad about these guys. We all have who we're due to.
Yeah.
But how could they listen to your message and say, okay?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point. It's why I say you're part of the solution, right?
And
the corporate media is fundamentally broken,
right?
And whether you're generous or non-generous in the motives you've ascribed to them, it is just a fact that there is not a corporate accountability lens in our media coverage. When bad things happen, the root causes, which often lie in corporate misbehavior, are never talked about. Right? Like the BP oil spill that happened back in the day. Like, where's the accountability? Where was the conversation about, it was this company skirting loose regulations and knowing that there wasn't a cop on the beat that allowed them to get to the point where we're polluting the planet, right? And I remember during that moment, I was thinking, like, I'm recycling. How much recycling will I have to do in my lifetime to undo this corporate malfeasance? And that was really never a topic of conversation. It was just like, there's a crisis. We fixed the crisis. but it didn't really define the root cause of the crisis.
And
Right?
I always talk about what corporations do is they pollute, they do other things, and then they charge you
Yeah.
to clean up the pollution in the long run. They charge you for
Yeah.
the healthcare that you have to get for the pollution caused by the pollution. I mean, it's a vicious cycle that I think if we had media, I mean, we have spokespeople already. You make a hell of a spokesperson on all these issues.
Oh, thank you.
The problem, however, is that we don't have a media that spreads that message out. When I go out live, I go out through one channel that expands into 10 channels.
Yeah.
One channel to 10. That is what the media is supposed to do to your voice and the active voice of every progressive in here. So my question to you takes it this direction. When are all our leaders in the progressive space, you and many others, are going to see a reason to really promote these types of independent media and let the big boys come to you on your terms?
I think that is a key question. And I think if things had gone different in the 2020 presidential primary,
Right.
we would be in that environment now.
Right.
I hope that President Biden is successful at the stuff that he's trying to do.
Right.
But there is a culture question that comes with who we elect as president, and
Right.
eventually, Senate and Democratic leadership in the House and Senate. There is kind of a 1994 old school thinking right now in most of Democratic politics, in part because a lot of our leaders are so old.
Right.
Nothing against
actually,
them.
no. Actually, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi and her
Right.
whole gang are in
Right.
the 80s.
Right. Like, why do you said the big boys? Why do the big corporate media get to ask all the questions at the White House press conferences?
Exactly.
Right. Weirdly, Trump had a bunch of right-wing media in the room
Yes.
asking questions, which
Yes.
allowed him to frame the message that was then put out through the corporate media.
Right.
I do think that if we get a progressive movement president, and again, unfortunately, there's a seniority system which often gets in the way of this, but in the House and Senate, I think if we have progressive leadership there, Nancy Pelosi does press conferences every week.
Right.
Who is she calling on? Right? Who is she prioritizing?
Same people,
Who is she inviting into the room? Right? I think if you were asking questions, it would be a lot different than Peter Ducey.
I won't get into the room.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a whole issue.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the right wing bring in some of their news mags and the
Yeah.
OAN folks into the room, but the small progressive networks that are asking the real questions, they don't get called on, or they are made to believe that, they are right wing fringe. We are America.
Yeah.
You take a look at Rick Smith and all these guys. We represent America.
Yeah.
That's who America really is.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, I always ask a very specific question that I want you to take as long or as short as you want it to be. What should I have asked you that I didn't?
Well, I gave you an obvious cue in the beginning.
Well, what's
When
the
I said
cue?
Adam Green is hilarious. You didn't follow up on that.
Well, you know what?
You didn't follow up on that,
Well, you
my
know what?
friend.
Let me tell
I
you
have
what.
some things I want to get off my chest.
Okay, well, get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
Here's something that I've been thinking more about, which is comedy and politics together.
Right.
And for the last month of the 2020 election, we actually hired on contract 10 comedians, some that
Right.
write for late night shows, to kind of be what we call a virtual writer's room.
Right.
Where we would throw them ideas, things in the news, and ask them, just think about this and let us know if
Right.
there's anything kind of funny that would kind of cut through the depression and the noise that's out there.
I like that, actually.
It's I think it's needed now more than ever. There was an Axios piece 3 or 4 weeks ago that pretty much said that cable news viewership is at a record low.
Oh.
Now we can analyze why. I think
Right.
there's a general distrust, but people are just depressed. They're tired. They're tuning out. They don't need an extra insertion of negative stuff in
Right.
peppering their brains. And it even said people are looking for distractions.
Right.
Sports, video games, whatever. Well, my analogy, I don't know if you're a dog person.
I haven't had a dog,
You
but
had a
not
dog?
anymore.
Same. You're familiar with a pill pocket. How do you give a dog its medicine in a pill form?
Uh-huh.
You make it look like a treat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
Really?
it's a
Okay.
little thing that goes around the pill, and you give it to the dog, and they're happy to eat it. Well, similarly, we've actually taken a few stabs now at comedy videos with some real A-list heavy hitter celebrities. One around Biden-Harris, get out the vote, urging people to vote early in person when the post office was under attack. The second was around the Georgia Senate elections. Basically, celebrities doing a lot of breaking news hits,
Right.
talking about the corruption of the Republican Senate candidates,
Right.
which was kind of the key to winning those elections. And then a third one with David Cross from Arrested Development, one-man show, basically around the billionaire's tax when that was kind of hot in the news around Build Back Better.
I like the concept.
Yeah, and it basically was like, you watch this 4 or 5 minute video of him you learn a lot about tax loopholes,
Right.
but it's punchline.
And not only that,
right?
it's something that you want to keep watching. It's not like, oh, there
Yeah.
it goes depressing again.
Yeah, no, it brings a smile to my face helping to
Right.
make it, and it brings a smile to people's face. So we're thinking about, and we're actually on the cusp of this, coming week,
Right.
actually filming our first comedy ad. It will also feature David Cross. It will be around It'll be around Secretary of State races. I will just preview the first line on your show.
Let me hear it.
It will be an interview where someone asks a Republican Secretary of State candidate, why are you running for office? And they will say something to the effect of, Secretary of State counts the votes. And when Donald Trump first asked me to run for Secretary of State, my reaction was, pardon me? No, literally. When he said he would pardon me, after going to the insurrection, I'm there. I'm running, right? Right. And the thing is that all these Secretary of State candidates actually were at the insurrection or insurrection adjacent.
So they need a pardon.
They need a pardon, right? So we're basically, it's like, oh, haha.
Yeah.
But it will be threaded with little jokes, but they emphasize like, we have these criminal misfits who tried to overthrow the election, running to count the votes.
Right.
That's the core irony point.
Right,
If people know one thing about Secretary of State, that's the point they need to know. And we want to get across through comedy. So,
and you said you're funded for 10 of them?
Say it again?
Did you say you're funded for 10 of them?
I definitely did not say that. So go to boldprogressives.org and chip in if you want to help on these things.
You heard him. He's asking for funding for these comedy skits, man.
It's
Give
really
the man
important.
the funding.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, when you start putting these things out, make sure politicsdoneright.com and some of these independent guys are right up there, and come back on and let us know
let's
what's
get on here on day
going
one.
on and start putting all this stuff out.
I will just say, we broke some news here. This has not been public until this moment. So
you see, PDR
comedy,
broke news, guys.
That's right. That's the way it should be done.
That's the
right. It's a little teaser.
You got it, brother.
That's right.
You got it. That's the way it's done.
That's
but
right.
anyhow, folks, Adam Green, Bold Progressives. Check out boldprogressives.org. Boldprogressives.org. Remember, all these independent progressive organizations, including Politics Done Right, they do need your support. If you're going to change America, it starts with guys like Adam Green and many others.
And folks like this.
Let's get this done. Politics Done Right, out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.